not markets as functioning freely. They have all sorts of problems. I mentioned one, but there are plenty of others. For one thing, we have to remember that contrary to doctrine, the doctrine is that markets provide choices. Actually, markets restrict choices in a very specific way. So for example, suppose I want to get home from work tonight. The market does offer me a choice between a Ford and a Toyota. It does not offer me what I want. In fact, it excludes it, namely a subway. Now that is not available on the market. It's a collective good. It's not a good produced by some institution for profit for that institution. That would be true whether it was worker controlled or privately owned. So markets sharply restrict choices to consumer goods. And that is extremely harmful because what the society needs are very different things. Like our society doesn't need more cars on the road. It needs an efficient mass transportation system. That would be not only better for everyone, but it would also offer some chance, at least, of staving off environmental catastrophe. But that's just not available on the market. And the same is true quite generally. I mean, that's one example, but if you think you can see generally. So markets automatically are going to restrict choices if there's much reliance on them. Is there any role for markets? Well, I think theoretically there's some. Markets are a form of providing information, in theory. So if you look at choices that people make in a consumer market, the kind that markets are limited to, do they like this kind of shoe or that kind of shoe? Yeah, you get some information through market systems. So a question is, can you use the information gathering property of markets without the negative effects, without it in fact even contributing to profit? There's no reason you can, at least theoretically, easily divorce the information gathering property from the profit. If more people like this kind of shoe than that kind of shoe, then a collective decision in a democratic institution to say, okay, that's what we'll produce. But there's no more profit. In fact, there may be no profit at all. Maybe an egalitarian system in which people get what they need. That's so these things are, in principle, quite distinct. And you can imagine a reliance on markets to indicate distribution of choices in a narrow domain, because you don't get choice. The fundamental choices are excluded in markets, like the choice between a car and a subway. It's excluded, but many other things like it. So it's possible to imagine systems in which these things could be integrated in a more free and democratic society, including